Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
I'll tell you what, it's even better, with you having a brand new album coming out. And this is your first solo album, even with all of your years, working with Vanilla Fudge and so many other great artists,
Right.
like, Tommy Bolin, Alice Cooper, Steve Miller Band, Deep Purple. And now you've released this great new solo album coming out,
Yeah.
There's the Light. Why
There's
did
the
you
Light.
wait until now, Mark?
The truth is, back in '79, I did have a solo album on Columbia Records, just so everybody, just to do a little fact check,
Yeah.
But it was never released. And it was actually produced by Dave Mason. And, it was really amazing. We had the album cover all ready to come out. And then suddenly, I don't know, some political thing happened and they never released the album. It was something to do with the beginning of the new wave music movement in '79 into '80.
Huh.
But I did have an album, but it was never released. And then I did have an album that I kind of self-released called White Magic in the early 2000s. Okay.
Yeah.
But this album, There's the Light, is actually the first solo album I've had that's actually on the label. It's, totally behind it. Deco has been incredible, helping to promote this thing on every level possible in the modern age. So, yeah, I'm really happy about it. And it's a collection of songs that's tied together with a theme of patriotism, social matters and social commentary. That's been going on in this country for a number of years, and a little bit of love songs mixed in. So it definitely has a theme.
Yeah.
And we hope people will check it out. It's been getting a lot of exposure out there. Songs like All Lives Matter has been getting a lot of play in Pennsylvania, actually. And the album has actually been #1 on some of the stations in Pittsburgh and Philly. And songs like Let's Pray for Peace, which we'll talk about the video that's out, which correlates with the Ukrainian effort, that's been getting, some pretty intense airplay in that part of the country. But yeah, I'm proud of the record, and it's getting great reviews, and I'm happy you brought it up, and I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I listened to the entire album, and what we mentioned too with Let's Pray for Peace, with supporting Ukraine, and with the donations on that too, Mark, to where it goes to UNICEF.
Right.
Correct?
Exactly. If you look at the video, Deco Entertainment and I put together a really compelling, I think, piece of work that goes with the lyrics and the song. And at the end of the video, you'll see a link where you can access it, and any and all income, we hope you folks will dig into your deep pockets and donate some money. All the money's going to all the children and the families that are suffering from the war in Ukraine through UNICEF. So it's a pretty powerful, legitimate organization, so you can feel safe donating to it. And please check out the video. I think it says it all.
I agree. It's powerful. When I watched it, it's just and the song itself is incredible also. And I noticed, through this entire album, you are so well known, obviously for your vocals and for your songwriting capabilities, but I've always been a fan of your Hammond B3 playing. And but there's a mix in this album to where, you're doing some more piano, you've got some ballads in here, you've got some rockin' songs, and there's still, your signature Hammond B3 sound also.
Right. Well, B3, I was born and raised on Hammond B3. I've been through my career through Vanilla Fudge and playing with Alice Cooper, Dave Mason, yada, yada, all the people I've worked with. But there's another side of me. There's a singer-songwriter side of me.
Right.
When I was really young in the early '70s, I loved Elton John. And when the Fudge broke up at that time, for the first time, I wanted to be Elton John. I loved him and Bernie Taupin. I loved the songs. I moved out to California with my family, and I never became Elton John. So, but I was developing my writing, and I ended up joining forces with the late great Tommy Bolin and his super group that he put together. Right. And Tommy Bolin, the great young guitarist from Deep Purple, and
just amazing
solo fame. So yeah, so I got back to touring with him in the mid '70s. But yeah, I mean, I've had a long career. I've worked with Tommy. I've played shows and with the great Carl Palmer. I've made appearances with Deep Purple, The Doors. I don't know, a lot of folks. Michael Jackson, I actually got him to sing on the track with me and Dave Mason in the early '80s. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been interesting.
Vanilla Fudge, Mark, you guys were, acknowledged, and I think it's amazing, as one of the bands that really were the first to merge kind of psychedelic music and more heavier metal, and then bands such as Deep Purple and a lot of other keyboardists, kind of idolized you and with your style of playing and what you were doing, Mark. And so how does that feel now? Because I mean, as we're talking about, a number of the great artists and bands that you've played with, you've got a great new album out. You're going to be on tour again this fall. What does it feel like, when you're getting these kind of accolades for the things, the music in your career?
Well, I just feel like I've been blessed. So many people that I have worked with over the years, I went back to the Lord, and I am still here. I'm still doing some solo shows. Still have some concerts lined up with Vanilla Fudge right after the summer and the fall. We have a whole handful of dates in the Northeast. And I think about the third week, excuse me, of September, I'm going to be doing a show called World Stage, which is really cool. Jim Peterick, the great songwriter that wrote Eye of the Tiger, and worked with some pretty heavy things with 38 Special, and he's the leader of one of my favorite classic rock bands called the Ides of March.
Oh yeah. Okay?
So, and the keyboard player is a Hammond rep too, is Scott Mays, is a real close friend of mine too. So we all work together from time to time. But this is an annual event that Jim Peterick put together called World Stage, where he assembles the guys from the Ides of March and other really great musicians. And I'm going to be one of the featured artists. I'm going to be doing a couple of the iconic Vanilla Fudge songs that can keep hanging on and take me for a little while. And I believe I'm also going to be doing We Are Survivors from my solo album, and also Let's Pray for Peace. And they're great players and great singers. So I'm really looking forward to work with these guys. And I'm hoping Kathy Richardson from Jefferson Starship is going to make an appearance. I know they're busy on tour, and I'm hoping Jennifer Batten, who was famous for playing with Michael Jackson during his career, and she's really a trip to watch and listen to. So it's going to be an assembly of these really cool artists. It's going to be very diverse with a great backup band, and I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a few months out, September 24th.
Right. What a blast!
Yeah, and then Vanilla Fudge, just maybe a week after that, has a bunch of shows, like I said, in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing places like the Chants. We're playing places like Bull Run, the Narrows in Massachusetts, which is a performing arts center.
Wow.
And they're lining up a whole bunch of stuff, which is yet to be announced.
Well, and I think with your solo album too, I'm sure, Mark, that you're going to be doing more tours and everything for this album in support of it. And I got to ask you too, obviously knowing your catalog as I do with Vanilla Fudge, what does it feel like for you when you hear your songs being utilized, in TV shows and movies and everything like that, and that the music really is cool. still holding up today?
Yeah, it's like a song like the iconic track of You Keep Me Hanging On. Man, I mean, the thing came out in '67. How many years? We're over half a century now, 55 years later, right? I don't want to date myself, but I'm old.
But you don't sound it or look it.
I'm still trying to keep myself youthful. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarette smoking, one wife. It'll be my 50th wedding anniversary coming up July 9th with me and Patty Stein. And I think that's kind of kept me these 2 feet on the ground through the up and down career I've had. But, getting back to what it feels like, again, I feel blessed. I was able to hang on and be friends with a lot of the people that were in a lot of these classic rock bands, like Uriah Heep.
Right.
Like Vic Fox, the original guitar player, would always say that my my organ style had a lot to do with their music,
Right.
which made me feel like, wow, man, it's pretty cool. And the late great friend of mine, John Lord,
Mm-hmm.
who passed a number of years ago, I know was influenced by my style of play on the Hammond. And they used to come and see us in England in the late 60s. And for a while, they were actually, Deep Purple was actually called the English Vanilla Fudge. So I know we had a profound influence on them. And even Led Zeppelin, because they were just a young fledgling band when we actually broke them in 1968. Their first concert was in Denver, opening for the Fudge, man, and just seeing that band evolve. We used to hang out. We used to talk about, classic, music at the time, and seeing them evolve into the amazing juggernaut that they became is something I think that not too many people, can share.
Right.
I mean, I heard the second Led Zeppelin album before anybody even heard it. I remember Jimmy Page and Robert Plant sat me down in Albuquerque when we were touring together, and they played me the acetates of Whole Lot of Love and What Is and What Should Never Be, and that second album, which made them become superstars, man.
Right.
Whole Lot of Love came on the airwaves, and that song with that amazing passion and rock and roll power and that incredible vocal, that just like opened up the fires that led them to become so amazing. It's hard to believe that I was actually there and experienced and rubbed elbows with so many of the greats that went on.
I think you're going to have to do a book or a documentary at some point, Mark.
Well, my book is out. It's been out. It's called "You Keep Me Hanging On: The Raging Story."
But I think you're going to have to update it now because you keep extending the chapters.
Yeah. Well, the book is on mark-stein.com. You Keep Me Hanging On: The Raging Story of Rock Music's Golden Age. It's got interviews from all the greats, from Billy Joel to all the Doors, and people like Sid Bernstein, who managed the Rascals and brought the Beatles to America. It's been critically acclaimed, and it shows Vanilla Fudge's place in progressive rock history, against the Vietnam War and against the civil rights movement in the world, in the United States. At that time, we were touring the Deep South when Martin Luther King was assassinated. But here we are playing the sports arena in such a crucial time in history. And I dedicated, People Get Ready, which is one of our famous arrangements, to Martin Luther King at a sold out venue, the sports arena in New Orleans. And I can remember Molotov cocktails being thrown out of the stadium, people rioting, and my manager grabbed me after the show and said, "Are you out of your mind? What do you do? What are you dedicating? Don't you know where we are? We're in the Deep South." I was a kid, I was just an activist.
Right.
I was just so moved by everything that's going on, and I felt it was the right thing to do. And the younger generation, I guess was proud of what I was doing. And today I'm still proud of it, And here's my book, Keep Me Hanging On.
Awesome. I'm going to have a copy of that.
Yeah, it's on Amazon or mark-stein.com, and it's got commentary from Paul Schaefer, from Robert Plant, from Glenn Hughes, from Felix Cavalieri, all of these greats that had wonderful things to say about the book and, everything that went down in my life in my younger years, up to the point that the book was written, which is actually a number of years already.
Yeah.
But,
now you're going to have to update it to include the new solo album too, Mark.
I'm going to have to do that.
It's just incredible, Mark. Congratulations on the new album. There's a Light. I know you're going to be touring a bunch and playing some great shows. Hopefully you'll come back through Nashville also. And thank you so much for joining us on the Rock and Review.
All right. All the best, man.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.